Today, we're making Hainanese chicken rice, one of my all-time favorite dishes. Wonderful comfort food, and it has everything. The first time I went to Singapore, when I had chicken rice, I didn't realize when you order chicken rice in a restaurant, they would just bring you the rice. That tells you how much emphasis is put on the actual rice. When I see Hainanese chicken rice recipes, I get really worked up when I see people write chicken stock as a recipe. That's the most important part of the whole meal, and some poaching liquid here and there will simply not make it. So today, we're going to do the whole thing from scratch, and one chicken should be enough to yield an amazing stock to cook the rice and a very yummy bird to enjoy with your rice. It will be a 2-day process, but I promise you, it'll be worth it. So let's do this. First, we bone out the chicken. Bones, flesh. Ready? I mean, there are enough videos on this channel of me boning out a chicken. I think I'm not even gonna waste your time narrating it. So, chicken feet. I mean, if you don't mind chicken feet, very rich in collagen, that makes a wonderful broth. If you don't like it, leave it out. There's no need for dramatic statements. Perfect. The neck goes in. Wing, again, very collagen rich, great for stock. Same shebang. Find the wishbone in. One thing to note, it's important to leave enough skin for the breast. Otherwise, when they cook down and shrink, you don't have enough. So you find the line of fat here, and you cut from the outside, not the inside of the fat. Break. Same on the other side. Break. To maximize your yield of skin, I like to cut the back right down the middle. Now, simply follow the oyster. Once you know you have the oyster, you pull. Same on the other side. Pull, 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 pull. Perfect. Now, we bone out the legs. Deboning really is a matter of patience. Yes, to do it quickly, that's a skill. But anyone with a bit of patience can do it slowly, so there's no need to rush. Now, with the drum, it's very important to know that there's a small bone right next to the large bone, so make sure you remove this one as well. Another benefit of boning it out is you can see, for a healthy bird, you'll get a lot of these tough sinews because they actually get to walk. If you wish to make the dish less chewy, you can scrape it with a knife to take them out. Optional, of course. Now, the breast, stretch the skin, and you find the middle. You make one incision on the left, follow through on the other side. And you keep going until you've reached the wing joint. You wiggle, you break, you jam your knife in, you dislocate the wing joint, and at this point you pull. Whole thing out, including the back. Trim off some of the excess skin for presentation's sake. Again, you run it down with your thumb with very few incisions. Once again, you're pulling most of the time. Once you reach the top, wiggle, wing joint, dislocate, and you pull. Once again, we're taking the back with us, and this is a very, very, very clean carcass. Trim off the excess skin. Now, this is ready to go. Set it one side. For the very clean carcass, we break them down into smaller chunks to fit the pot and to help them cook quicker. They go in. Now, to that, we'll simply add a bit of ginger. Watched, we don't even need to peel them. And a scallion. And these flavors will be reinforced by the condiment that we'll make tomorrow. Now, we have our carcass and we have our chicken. For this, we simply top up with just enough water. Remember, you only need enough liquid to cook your rice. Anything more than that, you're diluting the flavors. So don't go crazy with the water. For me, that's enough because the chicken, once cooked, the bone would go down and everything will be submerged. Simply bring this to a boil, simmer, 3 hours. If you have a pressure cooker, even better. 1 hour, let it cool down, and we'll leave this in the fridge. Now, another reason for the overnight rest is the chicken. I want to salt it the day before so that the salt could break down the protein fibers into small amino acid strands. This would make the chicken more tender to be able to retain more juices. So, very generous amount of salt. If you want to be precise, 0.6% to the chicken's weight with the bones on, that is. And this goes into the fridge. Normally, I would always say leave it in the fridge uncovered so that it would dry the skin. But because this is a steaming or poaching dish, it doesn't matter. You can put it in a Ziploc bag, do whatever you like, and tomorrow, Hainanese chicken rice. I'll see you then. All right, day 2. First, we have this extremely jelly-like, gelatinous, concentrated chicken stock that we'll use to cook the rice. Now, before we do that, first harvest this wonderful corn-fed chicken fat. We'll use them to toast some ginger and garlic for the rice, and we use the rest to make our condiments. This is also extremely satisfying. So chicken fat is good to go. Chicken stock is good to go. Now, the chicken. This has been marinated overnight with just salt. Previously, we've demonstrated with the soy glazed chicken recipe how to poach. We've roasted I don't know how many birds. So today, we're just gonna do it how I normally cook this at home. We're gonna steam them in the combi oven sous vide. No matter how you cook it, poaching or steaming, the only thing you need to bear in mind is you want to get the breast to somewhere between 61 to 67 degrees Celsius, and you want to bring the thigh meat above 71 for at least half an hour for the collagen to really break down. So, very simple. We have 2 trays, bit of vegetable oil just to prevent sticking, and a few slices of ginger just to reinforce that ginger scallion flavor profile that we've been building. You can leave the skin on because we're not going to eat those. Bit of scallion offcuts. Now the breast. Thigh meat. Brilliant. So what I like to do is I like to set the oven temperature to 71 and give the thigh meat a head start, minimum half an hour. Then I will lower the combi oven to 61 and the breast meat joins in for at least 45 minutes. So if you're in a rush, an hour 15, you can eat. But if you're hosting, the beauty is they can stay at 61 for up to 4 hours. So you could take your time, entertain your guests, and when they're ready, you carve and you eat. So now we make our condiments and we cook the rice. Both the cooking of the rice and the 3 condiments requires the holy trinity of aromatic vegetables. We have our ginger, the garlic, and lots of scallion. So first, the ginger. I like to first do all the prep, and then you cook the rice and you cook the condiments. The skin, the offcuts, they can go to the chicken if you wish. For this recipe, I like to do it by hand. And if you're in a hurry, I would use a food processor, but not a grater, because I want to control the size of the chicken so I know it won't burn when it hits the pan. When you use a grater or a garlic crusher, they burn a bit too easily. And if you're gonna use a food processor for this, make sure you first cut the ginger against the fiber to break the fiber down before you use the food processor. Otherwise, you end up with very stringy chicken that is not palatable. Most of these condiments, they actually taste wonderful the next day. So if you're doing this dish for hosting, do it the day before so that on the day, all you have to worry about is carving the chicken. The ginger goes into 2 out of 3 condiments and the rice, so you want quite a bit of ginger. Now, garlic. The garlic goes into the rice and 1 condiment. So a bit less than the ginger, but still, we'll be quite generous. Say that for now. I genuinely think part of the fun of making Hainanese chicken rice is the preparation of the condiments. Now, last but not least, my personal favorite, scallion. Only the white part this time. You want a bit of the green just because it looks aesthetically pleasing, like this much. Yeah, the green is really there just for the color, but it's a beautiful color. So, for the rice, I mean, if you live in Asia, you have no trouble accessing good products. But if you live outside of Asia, one fail-proof I find that you could even find in major supermarkets, it's just long grain basmati rice. And for this recipe, you really want to wash the rice properly until you don't see any starchy water coming out. I'm not sure how good that is for nutrition, but to make it tasty, that's a must. So let's wash. You see, we want this starchy liquid to disappear. Drain off as much liquid to make space for the beautiful chicken stock. Now we have 2 cups of rice washed. We measure 2 cups of chicken stock. Jelly, that is. Perfect. Now, stove on. Medium heat, because the chicken fat might splash a bit because it took some of the chicken broth with it. So if you start too hot, this is gonna really splash. And chicken fat is what really gives that beautiful yellow color, that signature yellow color to the Hainanese chicken rice. So be a bit generous. Now, once the liquid has mostly evaporated, a tiny bit of liquid is okay. First, the ginger, because they need longer than the garlic. Now, the garlic. You want to cook them until they're slightly brown, but not burnt. Perfect. Stove off. Now, we grab our rice cooker. We add our rinsed rice. And first, we add the stock, because if we add this, it's going to start cooking the rice. Perfect. The beautifully cooked chicken fat with ginger and garlic, brown and not burnt. And now we can mix. Brilliant. Once everything is fully coated, try to flatten and form one even layer. Lid on. and whatever the right setting is for your rice cooker. Now, the condiments. Like everything on this channel is not authentic. Even in Singapore, everyone does it differently. But I want to show you the 3 condiments that I like to cook. First up, my personal favorite, ginger and scallion. Medium, high heat, vegetable oil. And we're very generous with this one. Now, ginger, because they take the longest. So the longer you cook the ginger, the more of the water content you evaporate and the less spicy they become. So you be your own judge in terms of how long you want to cook the ginger before you add the scallion. Because the scallion needs seconds just to release their fragrance. What you definitely don't want is to brown the ginger. So once you've reached the desired level of evaporation, scallion in. And this will cool down the pot slightly as well. A few seconds of quick mixing, stove off. The residual heat would bring out all these beautiful fresh fragrance of the scallion. You're not making scallion oil. You don't want to cook the crap out of the scallion. You want to retain that freshness. Now, we season extremely generously with salt. Taste. Because this will go on the chicken, so make it a bit saltier than you think you need. And the flesh of the chicken would balance it out perfectly. Perfect. It's 1 done, 2 to go. And it's my favorite, so sometimes we just make this one when I'm very lazy. Wonderful. Now, another reason why I do it in this order is it eliminates the need to rinse the saucepan. So, back on, vegetable oil once again. This time less generous, because we'll add something else. Once again, ginger back in. Perfect. Once you've reached the desired evaporation, generous amount of garlic. We season with salt. This will also help them release their moisture. Now, I did promise this one is definitely not authentic, so my secret weapon, sriracha. Now, chicken stock. This would make the sriracha spiciness a lot milder and bring a lot more complexity to the whole thing. And you reduce it to your desired consistency. So some people like it really thick. An optional step to make it even smoother and thicker, it's to blitz it in the food processor, but I normally don't bother. So that's perfect for me. Stove off. 2 out of 3. Now for the third one, we have a to rinse or not to rinse situation. If your guests are okay with a bit of spiciness, I cook my sweet soy sauce directly in this, taking some wonderful flavors from the previous 2. If you have a guest who's strictly non-spicy, rinse it so they will at least have 2 out of 3 condiments that they could enjoy. So, a generous amount of mirin, Japanese sweet wine, and you bring this back to a boil. And this you want to reduce down to a glaze. Alright, we're getting close. And now we're a bit careful for this not to burn. That's borderline syrupy. So at this point, soy sauce go in. This is 50% light soy, 50% dark soy. And you once again cook it down. Because remember, we have the chicken stock on the side. If it ever gets too thick for your liking, we can always add just a dash of chicken broth. As you can see, it's coating the side of my saucepan, so I'm happy with that. Stove off. Brilliant. And that's 3 out of 3. Rice is almost ready, chicken is ready, so when that's good to go, we carve and serve. Beautifully cooked. Set them aside. Rice is ready. Oh. Look at this beauty. It's taken on that beautiful chicken fat color. It's fluffy, it's individually grained. Oh, it's wonderful. The smell is wonderful. So normally this whole thing goes to the middle of the dining table, family style. But since we're filming today, let's plate one, shall we? No, you know the trick. Get a bowl, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. We grab a serving plate, push, 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 flip, and we leave it there while we carve. Just because it's chicken rice, we're gonna add a few customary slices of cucumber. I don't know why. We have the perfectly cooked breast. Trim off the excess skin. The marination of the salt really makes a difference. And how beautiful is that? Now, magical moment. And this is Hainanese chicken rice, my way. I really hope you enjoy.